Welcome back to BRX Pro Tips. Lee Kantor Stone Payton here with you. Lee, in our roles as studio partners, in our roles as client host, we do manage change. But let's talk a little bit about managing change from a selling perspective, from a hosting perspective. Let's just talk about the roles, the responsibilities, and the mindset associated with managing change effectively.
Right. This is, I guess, I don't know if this speaks more to our selling style or change managing style. But for me, I always find when you're asking someone to have a mental shift, like it is when they're working with us, because a lot of people have, bought ads or they've bought some side of marketing before, and they've usually had to work hard in prospecting and selling. And our method doesn't require a lot of that. And that's a mental shift for a lot of people to really kind of grasp that this doesn't have to be a hard sell to ask someone to be a guest on a show. Like, you don't have to work super hard to do that. You just have to make it available to them and let them know it's available and educate them that it's available, not please, baby, please be a guest on my show. And we found that in order to make that change, they don't have to, be the hard salesperson maybe they've had to be historically. And we've got to really kind of work with them and educate them in baby steps that adding, all the reasons why it would be great to be a show or how many listeners the show has or all this information about why this show is great for them isn't really necessary. It's easier just to remove barriers, relieve pressure, reduce friction, lower hurdles, and get them to act that way. And you'll get more guests and your client will be more successful. But Stone, you're the change management guru. So you tell me how this fits into change management.
Well, it's interesting to me that you use the word removing barriers. I did back when I had something much closer to a real job. I worked for a high-end premium fee change management consulting firm, the last of 3 such firms that I worked with. And in every case, one of their primary strategies for planning and executing even large-scale transformational change was all about reducing the friction and shrinking the timeline by educating people and removing barriers and equipping them to remove barriers. The last thing that they wanted you to do, that they would recommend that you would do, is try to, quote, sell the change. And so it's interesting. You didn't have to have all that education or an uncle in the business to arrive at the same point. I think you've hit it spot on. It's all about removing barriers, educating, removing the friction, and just kind of naturally letting it unfold, almost creating that environment, the opportunity for what I call mutual self-discovery. And maybe there's a little more guiding and nurturing going on the edges than a prospective client or an existing client realizes, but you're still kind of letting them find their own way with a little expert guidance from yourself.